Hello everyone. In the previous video, we have completed Z parameters in terms of Y and also Y parameters in terms of Z. Apart from that, we have also completed general circuit parameters, that is ABCD parameters in terms of Z and Y. So this video is a continuation for that. Okay, so in this video, we are expressing firstly Z parameters in terms of hybrid parameters or H parameters. Okay, so let us see how this can be. So for that we need to have the standard equations for the H parameters, that is V1 equal to H11 into I1 plus H12 into V2. Call it as equation 1. And second equation, that is I2 equal to H21 into I1 plus H22 into V2. So this is the second equation. We all know very well that the standard equations for the Z parameters are V1 equal to and V2 equal to. So that means voltage equations. So V2. So from second equation we can write the relation for V2. So from second equation H22 V2 equal to, this is what, I2 minus H21 into I1. Okay, so now what is V2? So keep I1 term first. There you get minus H21 by H22 into I1 plus 1 by H22 into I2. So call it as equation 3. Now you substitute this third equation in equation 1. Okay. You substitute this equation 3 in equation 1. So let us see what we can get. Okay. So this is V1 equal to H11 into I1 plus H12 into, what is V2? So V2 is minus H21 by H22 into I1 plus 1 by H22 into I2, isn't it? Okay, so this is it. So I2 we have expressed. Okay, so it's not I2 V2. Okay, so now what I can get, I1. I can get I1 as common, and also I'm taking the LCM. Okay, so collectively I'm writing here. So this is H11 into H22 minus H12 into H21 by H22 into I1, okay, plus 1 by H22 into I2. Okay, so this part is there, no, numerator part. So this is nothing but delta H. Okay, so this is delta H by H22 into I1 plus 1 by H22 into I2. So this is all V1 equal to. Okay, call it as equation 4. Now you compare equation 3 and equation 4. For our convenience, I am writing equation 3 here also. Okay, so this is V2 equal to what we got, minus H21 into H21 by H22 into I1 plus 1 by H22 into I2. So this is the third equation now. I just called back. Now you compare these two equations with the standard equations of the Z parameters. What are they? V1 equal to Z11 into I1 plus Z12 into I2. Now second equation, V2 equal to Z21 I1 plus Z22 I2. So now what is Z11? Simply this part. This is Z12, this is Z21, and this is Z22. In this way we can express Z parameters in terms of hybrid or H parameters. Okay, so let us go with the other type. So the second type, so Z parameters in terms of ABCD parameters. Okay, so it is all the same kind of calculation we need to follow. Okay, so firstly we have to take the standard equations for the ABCD parameters. So V1 equal to AV2 minus VI2, call it as equation 1. I1 equal to CV2 minus DI2, call it as equation 2. Okay, so we need Z parameters. So for that you need V1 relation and V2 relation, isn't it? So from second equation we can write V2 relation. Okay, so from second equation the CV2 is nothing but I1 minus DI2. Now what is V2? V2 is 1 by C into I1 minus D by C into I2. Okay, so call it as equation 3. Okay, so we all know very well that the standard equations for the Z parameters, V1 equal to Z11 into I1 plus Z12 into I2. Next V2 is Z21 I1 plus Z22 I2. Now you compare this equation with third. So there you get Z21 as 1 by C, Z22 as minus D by C. Okay, so half of the job was done. Now you substitute this third equation in equation 1. Okay, so substitute equation 3 in equation 1 and whatever the resultant, call it as equation 4. Now you compare this fourth equation with this standard equation for the Z parameters, that is first equation V1. There you get the expression for Z11 and Z12. So you do it and if you don't get the relations then I'll get back to you. Okay, so directly I'm writing the relations so you can verify. Okay, so this Z11, okay, so is equal to A by C you are going to get. Okay, now Z12 as AD minus BC by C. Okay, so you please verify. If you don't get the relations, please comment. I'll be answering your questions. Okay. So now let us go with the other type, other relations, that is Y parameters. Okay, Y parameters in terms of hybrid or H parameters. Okay. Let us see. So again, you need the standard relations for the H parameters. Okay, so this is V1 equal to H11 into I1 plus H12 into V2 and call it as equation 1. Okay, now I2 equal to H21 into I1 plus H22 into V2, call it as equation 2. And we all know very well that the standard equations for the Y parameters as I1 equal to Y11 V1 plus Y12 V2 and I2 is Y21 V1 plus Y22 into V2. Okay, so these are the standard equations for the Y parameters. So again, so same as usual. So from this equation 1, okay, so we can write the expression for I1. Okay, from this equation 1, write the relation for I1. So there you get, so 1 by H11 into V1 plus of minus H12 by H11 into V2. Okay, so call it as equation 3. Now you compare this third equation with the standard equation for the Y parameters first equation. There you get Y11 as 1 by H11, Y12 as minus H12 by H11. Okay, so now what you do? You substitute this equation 3 in equation 2. That's it. You'll be getting the expression for I2 as H21 by H11 into V1 plus delta H by H11 into V2. Call it as equation 4. Now you compare this equation with this. There you get Y21 as H21 by H11 and Y22 as delta H by H11. Okay, so in this way we can express y parameters in terms of h parameters. Now let us go with y parameters in terms of ABCD parameters. Okay. So for that again we need the standard equations for the ABCD parameters. So V1 equal to AV2 minus BI2. Call it as equation 1. So from this relation we may write the relation for I2 also. Directly we can take. Okay. So or else we write the equation for I1 also. Okay. So I1 is CV2 minus DI. Okay, call it as equation 2. Okay, so now from this equation 1, okay, so we can write I2 relation. I2 equal to minus 1 by B into V1 plus A by B into V2. Okay, so call it as equation 3 because the y parameter equations are nothing but current equations I1, I2. So that's why. And also, let us write the relation for I1. So what we can do? Okay, so from second equation, so I1 equal to, so that I current equations should be in terms of V1, V2. Because second equation directly itself is an I1 equation, that's okay. But we have I2 term. So we want to eliminate that I2. So, and we want the entire expression in terms of V1, V2. So that's why you substitute the third equation in equation 2. Okay, so there you get, so this is CV2 minus D into, so instead of I2, you may write 1 by B into V1 plus A by B into V2. That's it. Okay, so simplify this equation, we'll be getting the expression in terms of V1, V2. So I'll write directly, so I1 equal to, so you'll be getting D by BV1 minus AD minus BC by B into, okay, call it as equation 4. Now, we all know the standard equations for the y parameters. I1 equal to y11 into V1 plus y12 into, now I2 equal to y21 V1 plus y22 into V2. Now you compare these two equations with 3 and 4. There we can get y11, all the y parameter expressions, okay, y parameters in terms of ABCD parameters. Okay, so let us go with the other type. So we'll be expressing ABCD parameters, ABCD parameters in terms of H parameters. Okay, so for that we need the standard equations for the H parameters, as well as directly we will take ABCD parameters also. So this is so it is a bit different from whatever the relations that we have derived so far. Okay, so please concentrate on this part. Okay, so B1 equal to AB2. Okay, so plus B into minus I2 you write. Instead of minus BI2, you write B into minus I2. Call it as equation 1. Okay, so now I1 equal to CV2 plus D into minus I2. Call it as equation 2. And also we know the standard equations for y parameters. Okay, so V1 equal to H11 into I1 plus H12 into V2. Call it as equation 3. And now I2 equal to H21 into I1 plus H22 into V2. Call it as equation 4. Now from fourth equation, okay, so how we are getting the idea? So it's simply by practice, that's it. We want to relate ABCD parameters, that is V1, I1 equations. By somehow we want to express H parameter equations like in V1 I1 equations, that too in terms of V2 and I2. That's it. Okay, so think about it, you'll be getting the logic. Okay, so now from fourth equation, what we can write? This is H21 into I1 equal to I2 minus H22 into V2. So now what is I1 now? I1 is, so what we can get now? This is 1 by H21 into I2 minus H22 by H21 into V2. Isn't it? Okay, so now let us rearrange this equation. Okay, so I1 equal to, you see, I1. So what are the standard equation I1 in terms of ABCD? It is CV2. So you need V2 term first. So you write the V2 coefficient first. H22 by H21. Keep it in bracket. V2. So this portion is nothing but our C. Okay. Plus. Okay. So you need minus I2, right? If you write minus I2, obviously here you need to put it as minus 1 by H21. Now this portion is nothing but our, okay, so in this way we can compare this particular relation. Let us call it as equation 5. You compare this equation 5 with equation 2, then you get the relations for C and D in terms of H parameters. Okay, so now what we do now? So you substitute this particular fifth equation in equation 3. Okay, so let us substitute and let us see what we can get. So V1 equal to H11 into I1. Instead of I1, you may substitute here as minus H22 by H21 into V2 plus 1 by H21 into I2 plus rest of the part, that is H12 into V2. So now you take V2 terms separate, I2 terms separate, and by solving we may get V1 as, okay, so this is H12 H21 minus H11 H22 by H21 into V2 plus minus H11 by H21 into minus I2. Okay, so now call it as equation 6. Okay, so now you compare this sixth equation with first equation, where you can get this portion as A and this portion as B. That's it. Okay, so we got the relations for A, B, C, D in terms of H parameters. Okay, so now let us go with the other kind of relations. Okay, let us express H parameters in terms of Z parameters. Okay, so again you need the standard equations for Z parameters as well as H parameters. Directly we consider. Okay, so let me write H parameters first. H11 into, sorry, this is I1, right? Okay, H11 into, let me erase, into I1 plus H12 into V2. First equation. Now I2 equal to H21 into I1 plus H22 into V2. So second equation. Now write the Z parameters also, equations. V1 equal to Z11 into I1 plus Z12 into I2. Call it as 3. Next, V2 equal to Z21 I1 plus Z22 into I2. call it as equation 4. Now from the fourth equation, write the relation for I2. There you get minus Z21 by Z22 into I1 plus 1 by Z22 into V2. Call it as equation 5. Now you compare this fifth equation with second equation, that you can express H parameters H21, H22 in terms of Z. Okay, now you substitute this fifth equation in equation 3. There you can get V1. So directly I am writing this is delta Z by Z22 into I1 plus Z12 by Z22 into V2. Okay, so call it as sixth equation. Now you compare this sixth equation with equation 1. There you can get the relations for H11 and H12 in terms of Z parameters. Okay, now let us express H parameters in terms of Y parameters. Okay, now quickly I'll be writing the relations. V1 equal to H11 into I1 plus H12 into V2. First equation. Now I2 equal to H21 into I1 plus H22 into V2. Second equation. And also write the relations for the Y parameters. I1 equal to Y11 into V1 plus Y12 into V2. Equation 3. Now I2 equal to Y21 V1 plus Y22 V2. Fourth equation. Now consider the third equation. Okay, so from this third equation, write the relation for V1. So V1 is 1 by Y11 into V1 minus Y12 by Y11 into V2. Call it as equation 5. Now you compare this fifth equation with equation 1. There we can get the relations for H11 and H12 in terms of Y parameters. Now you substitute this fifth equation in equation 4. Okay, so if we can substitute, we can get the relation for I2. So directly I'm writing here. So I2 will be Y21 by Y11 into V1 plus delta Y by Y11 into V2. Call it as sixth equation. Now you compare this equation with the fourth equation. Then you can get the relations for Y21 and Y22 in terms of Y. Okay. Now let us see the other type of relations, that are H parameters in terms of ABCD parameters. So quickly I'll be writing the relations for H and A. Okay, so this is V1 equal to H11 into I1 plus H12 into V2. First equation. Now I2 equal to H21 into I1 plus H22 into V2. Second equation. Now ABCD parameter equations, that is V1 equal to AB2 minus BI2. Now I1 equal to CV2 minus DI2. Call it as equation 3 and 4. Now consider the fourth equation and write the relation for I2. There you can get minus 1 by D into I1 plus C by D into V2. Call it as equation 5. You compare this equation with second equation. There you can get H parameters H21, H22 in terms of ABCD parameters. Now you substitute this fifth equation in equation 3. Okay, so if we can substitute, will be getting V1 relation. V1 will be, so I'm directly writing here, this is B by D into I1 plus AD minus BC by D into V2. Call it as equation 6. Now you compare this sixth equation with equation 3. There you can get the expressions for A and B in terms of ABCD. Sorry, you compare the sixth equation with the first equation. Okay, so there you can get H11, H12 in terms of ABCD parameters. Okay, so now uh, these are the relations, and if you want to relate even more so if we missed any, so you can try. So if you don't get the answers, you can message, you can comment so that I will answer. Okay, so I hope you got the clarity on the interrelationships. So see, this is all very easy kind of concepts. Okay, so to analyze and to express each and every parameter in terms of other parameters, you need to have the standard relations. You need to remember the standard relations for all the types of parameters. Once you remember, you just do the trial and error method. Okay, so practice, that's it. Okay, so you'll be getting the ideas. I hope this video helps you in getting the interrelationships of different parameters in two-port networks, and thank you so much for watching this video.